This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Welcome to Dead Radio.
We're not doing that.
How did she come to have sex with a dead man?
Don't call me Radio Unit 91.
You're a dead man. You're a dead man!
He's God here in this radio station.
Place where the dead speak.
Rebel Radio!
I'm a fake? Yes. How'd you like to be dead?
You ever think about doing radio?
My team is dead!
But you're not crazy. You're me. And this is just radio.
By the powers vested in me by the Federal Communications Commission, I command you to get on the microphone in a serious manner and continue this broadcast.
All right.
I was too busy bitching about CD Baby.
I was too busy showing off
nefarious
all the
practices.
battle scars on my guitar. Zzz, my guitars. All the battle scars on my guitars. All right. Here we are. Sorry it took so long to get going, but yeah, that's what we were doing. Pitching.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 209.
All right.
209. And I forgot to... What was it? 200 and... So it's 104. 156. And then it's going to be... 208.
The fuck are you talking
We
about?
missed our 4 years worth of episodes anniversary or some shit. I don't know. What? That's a deep cut. No,
Yes,
don't
that
feel
would
like
be
digging into it
208.
and figuring it all out. But
Wow.
Yeah. That was a really dumb thing Ryan said one time. It's like, that's like 2 years worth of episodes. I'm like, how does that make sense?
50,
Well, if you listen to one every week,
there's 52 weeks
it'd
in a
be
year.
2 years. I'm like, but we've been doing this longer than 2 years because we haven't done it every week.
Or less than 2 years. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good job.
Oh, we talked through the friggin' intro. Okay, cool.
I don't think.
Hi,
we've ever done
everybody.
that.
No, we haven't. Hi, everybody. Yeah, welcome to Dead Radio. This week, if you didn't take a chance to read the YouTube description, we got Bryan Ruby's back. Hi,
Yeah.
Bryan.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the show, Bryan's been on before. He plays our favorite genre of music, country music.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And so I'm gonna get right into it because I didn't we only speak to each other like 5 minutes a clip every Thursday that you
True.
show up to open mic.
True.
And so I got a little bit of the gist, and my memory's not so great anyway. Drugs. And
I didn't hear anything.
so we're expecting you to be back when because you're a Vassar student.
Correct.
We're expecting you to be back when the new semester started, or the new school year, I guess, started. And you were not to be found.
Yeah.
Your memory is not very good.
A couple insiders told me that you took a sabbatical.
Well, he told you that he was taking a semester off too.
Oh yeah, no. No, somebody else told me.
Yeah.
Wait, you said before you left?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's my
I think
memory's
I did.
really
Yeah,
bad.
because I was gonna, I forget what it was, but we were thinking about setting something else up or whatever, and you said, I believe maybe on the show, getting on a year ago, that you were not going to be around for the spring semester.
For the fall.
Fall
For the
semester.
fall.
It was like doing the live music and Crafted Cup stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So he did tell us, and I believe it might have been on the show.
Yeah.
But it might have been in the coffee shop. I don't remember. The point is, I remember more than you, but not 100%.
So the sabbatical, what was that for?
Right. So I took so I'm a fifth-year senior at Vassar College, and I took this past fall off in order to do music stuff and work a little bit basically, it was all because of sports. I transferred to Vassar from Emory down in Georgia, and I redshirted a year. Redshirted my sophomore year, so I repeated sophomore year when I got up to school here. Just did my redshirt junior year last spring.
Can you define what redshirt?
Redshirt just means that. So in my case, I got pretty sick and missed a lot of the season.
So that's like DL kind of thing.
Yeah, you get put on the DL, and then you get an extra year of eligibility, basically, because you normally only allowed to play 4 years in college. But because I missed most of one season, they gave me an extra season.
So
that's cool.
DL disabled list. I don't know if you know. And the red shirt thing, I wasn't 100%, but like I remember in The Replacements, that movie, The Replacements, Keanu Reeves was a quarterback, and he had the red jersey on, and that means you don't hit him. And the one guy couldn't help but hit him.
Yeah,
it's different though.
Different. No, we don't have to wear red jerseys. It's baseball, not football.
Yeah, no, I know. I just wasn't sure if it was the same.
Yeah, but I spent the fall. I lived in Philadelphia, and made trips to New York and Nashville. I sublet a room from my cousin's apartment. Tried to save up as much money as I could. I lived in an 8 by 11 foot room for a couple months. Had all my shit.
Yeah, like
I can curse on this, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I had all my shit all in that room, and
that's like smaller than this room, right?
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be like if this table was a wall here. And then maybe the end of the table was a wall, too.
So you had enough
pretty tight.
room to sleep and get changed, and that's about it.
Sleep, get changed.
It's a jail cell.
Play the
That's the size
guitar
of a
while
jail cell.
sitting on the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a bed on the ground. Didn't have a box spring or anything. Just had a mattress on the ground.
I lived that life.
Just trying to save space, save money. And I worked as an Uber driver, Uber and Lyft for a little bit. Had some interesting stories with that. I can get into that maybe a little bit later.
Please do. Comedians love that shit. That's like the comedians thing. And I can't imagine, like, musicians, too. I'm sure you get plenty of stories from people, too.
Yeah.
And especially the country music, that's more of a storytelling kind of genre anyway. So that probably, I don't know if you picked up any influences from some...
Yeah, I had a couple interesting things happen. It drove everybody from a college president to... this lady who I'm pretty sure we were doing a drug deal in the middle of the night. So I got the full range of experiences as an Uber driver. Bachelorette party, that was fun.
I bet.
And they tipped well. And that's a side note,
Is
by
that
the
code?
way, people. No, they really did tip well. It's a side note, by the way. Tip your Uber drivers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never had many conversations with, but don't you prefer cash? Because aren't you paying income tax if you tip through the app?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hope Uber doesn't listen to this, but yeah,
Well, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Always tip cash.
Yeah,
Even
tip
restaurant,
cash.
man. Ever since working at Crafted Cup, now I only tip waiters and waitresses cash because some of them pool credit card tips like we do. And it's not a bad thing. It just helps people who get like the shit shift get a little extra in their pocket. But if you want to help the person that's helping you directly, cash is king.
Absolutely.
But also, if you're pooling your tips, don't pocket that cash. Don't be an asshole.
True.
Because I know I've heard of people that do. Not necessarily where I work now, but
if you're an Uber driver, you don't have to pool tips. They're all yours anyway. But you want the cash for sure.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of stuff in the fall. Kind of worked various jobs, like just trying to make some extra money. Didn't have anything steady 9 to 5, which basically allowed me to write music and pay for studio time, which I was incredibly lucky to get a chance to work with Chris Connors, a producer in New York City. So every couple of weeks, once I made up enough money from Uber and Lyft and just working the other jobs, I'd drive up to New York and we would record basically whatever I had finished up in the time. My mic just cut out. There we go. Whatever I'd finished up, recently we'd record it as a demo. And then I'd send that to basically just people that I've been meeting down in Nashville. I've taken 2 trips down in Nashville so far. And I've been trying to meet people. I got connected to one guy who used to be at a record label, now owns a talent agency. So I've been sending him all my stuff, been trying to stay tight with him. And really just trying to meet other songwriters. I've met a couple in Nashville. Like, everybody's a songwriter, so you don't really know who you're who you're talking to. But been able to get connected to people and start kind of getting my feet on the ground. That's my dream, to go down there one day and write country music for real, and get it to like prominent artists hopefully one day. So I've kind of been spent the fall trying to lay the groundwork for that, and writing and kind of trying to get better at my craft, and learn as much about songwriting as possible, because I'm the best songwriters, or at least the ones that country songwriters that I've, look up to. I think it was Josh Osborne said it takes maybe 200, 300 songs to really figure out, like, to get good at what you're trying to do. And I know I'm still in the very early stages of songwriting, but I really love to do it. And if you think about it, like everything in your life can be turned into a song. And I'm always on the hunt for like unique stories and stuff. And that's what I love to do. So write songs, country songs. I know, you're not a country.
It's really common in the country industry, though, like country and pop, to like have people that they make their living writing songs for famous people.
Yeah.
So I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
So you don't find that in the rock world for the most part.
Oh, you do. It's just
But
not.
it's not as much.
It's more hushed than anything.
Yeah.
Like there's a band called Hailstorm. They had a 4 or 5 song EP out. They finally got signed. The band broke up, and then they got signed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the label didn't realize that they were broken up, so they had to like scramble to get everybody back together. And they lost a guitarist. They brought a new guitarist. I think they brought 2 songs over from their EP to their like major label release, their first major label release, and then the rest of the songs were actually written by a good chunk of the songs. I would say like almost all of them. All the other ones were written by producers and
songwriters,
other songwriters.
Yeah.
And like one other song was theirs. It's not spoken about a lot, but with country music, it's a little different. The roots of country and even blues too. Everybody was always playing each other's music, and it like you weren't ripping off anybody, or like it was more like, hey, that's a good song. I want to play that song, so I'm gonna play it. And everybody's like, cool. I'm glad you like it, and that was it. Yeah. So so writers, people writing, helping you out, especially if it's your first gig or if your first album or whatever the hell. It's not a dumb thing to bring in a producer to help you work your shit out.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just funny to me that in certain genres, it's totally normal to just be like, it's written by so and so.
Yeah. Like in rock and metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, you don't say that.
Yeah,
You don't
don't
say
really
it,
say
but it
it.
might be true. You just don't know.
Yeah. But and the other thing is like, what determines who wrote what? Because like, if a producer's sitting down with you and me, Bryan Ruby still wrote the song, but so did me and this producer.
Right.
So it's just like you're still listed under there.
Who gets the credit? Who gets
Queens of the Stone Age have a couple songs. It says Josh Homme and Chris Goss. Chris Goss is like a sound guy there that Homme's been friends with and played in bands before with. But he's a good songwriter, and they have similar songwriting ideas, so they collaborate constantly, and they end up being Queens of the Stone Age songs.
Yeah.
But
what's the saying? Like, change a word, get a third.
Yeah,
publishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading online.
Publishing's interesting.
Yeah, I really don't know much about that yet. I mean, need to kind of like look into it, because if it's basically what I want to do, I got to have an idea of how that whole world works. I mean, I'm just focused on writing right now, but how to actually make a living out of it is a whole nother story.
Once you start dipping into the business of it, shit gets scary.
Yeah.
So I went to school, Institute of Audio Research, and I thought I was going to just go there for basically, editing, production, all that stuff, acoustic training and all that stuff. There was a class that actually was, I would say, out of all of them, probably the top 3 classes that I found the most interesting was the business of music.
Yeah.
And there's so many licensing, the difference between licensing and publishing, and the difference between, how much publishing gets you. So like, you know, if you write the lyrics, you get 50%. That's 50% of the song. The rest of the music, Chicago could be your backing band. If you wrote the lyrics, those other 20 fucking bastards are only getting 50% of the take of that. The other 50 goes to the lyrics. So some bands, like the band I was in, we didn't make any money off our stuff, and there's also copyrights too. You got to copyright your shit.
Yeah,
because that'll get stolen right out from under you.
Yeah, I've been getting copyrights. I've been pretty on top of that so far.
Good.
I've been, we get one of these demos done, and I get the copyright just to be safe.
Send it right out.
I have all the letters like Tic Tac up on my wall in my dorm room, just U.S. government copyright office. Like it's a stamp of pride, basically.
Yeah.
Just even if these early songs, I don't really think anybody's going to hear them, and I am kind of trying to build a base. But it's still like a pride thing to have those.
I mean, you never know. Like
certificates.
10 years down the road, you see some fucking asshole that you met at open mic playing one of your songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know.
Right.
I mean, that shit happens all the time, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my goal as a songwriter is to get other people playing.
Well,
my
yeah,
songs.
but I mean, you don't want fucking Jacob stealing one of your songs 10 years, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Who was it? His name was Jody. I can't remember. His name was Jody. He was at Institute of Audio Research. He was like a guidance counselor type person. He got you gigs at for internships and shit like that. And before we took the class, he was I went to this seminar. He happened to be talking about copywriting your music and making sure your licensing and your publishing are set up. They did a poor man's copyright on his old band from like the 80s. They did a poor man's copyright. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Okay.
What it is you mail yourself your
right.
demo, registered mail or whatever the hell
I've
like
heard
that.
of
And
that.
you keep
Don't open it.
And you don't open it. You keep it sealed so that you have some sort of evidence that it is yours and it's postmarked and everything like that and everything's legit. However, it doesn't quite hold up in court. It's a good way to fight.
Yeah.
They found out that I want to say the band was Mr. Big or Extreme, one of those two shitty 80s bands, like ripped off his song, ripped off this band's song. Like he told me the name of it, and I wish I could remember the song. I just can't remember. He's just like, they stole this note for note, and I think they changed the lyrics a little bit, and that's it. So they tried to bring it to court. They handed their lawyer the poor man's copyright, and he opened it up, took the stuff out, and started rooting through it because he didn't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And-
need to do it in front of the judge.
And
Yeah.
they took it to the judge. It was already open. And he was just like, I can't. This is. He goes, you could have had
That's
a
too
pack.
bad.
You could have just had this package lying around and then just took their music and stuffed it in, And he was just like, he goes, that was millions of dollars.
Well, the cool,
Right out
cool
the
thing
fucking
now is you have everything's electronic. You have metadata.
True.
So every change that you make to anything electronic can be traced all the way back to. There's a date and a time code in there. This computer, I can't change the time on this computer. You can't do it.
Yep.
It's in the firmware. So, like with photos, a lot of people. There was a guy. This guy got like fairly famous on social media and was making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling other people's pictures.
Wow.
Yeah. To stock photo sites. He pretended, and they still don't know who this is. They never found him. But he was doing shit like posting stuff to stock photo sites and just flipping it so that the algorithm wouldn't catch the copyright infringement. Yeah. And they were able to trace it back to a certain point, but he just took them off the internet.
Right.
So they weren't able to find his IP address or anything like that. Just they're like, if we ever find him and we have the computer that he did it on, we can link him to it. But there's nothing you
then
can
what?
do.
Yeah,
You can link him to it, and then you get him for fraud, for
Yeah.
copyright infringement, all that stuff. But he was smart about it, and as soon as people started piping up and noticing, he just disappeared.
Yeah.
But he was seriously taking famous journalists'
I bet you it was Dave G.
pictures. Could be.
It could be somebody from
Yeah.
Crafted.
He was taking
Somebody
fake
from the open mic.
he was making these fake personalities, fake bank accounts using like Venmo and PayPal and shit like that, and posting famous journalist pictures to stock photo sites. Goes up on the stock photo site, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people were buying these images, and he gets a chunk of that. And those photo sites weren't realizing that they're using someone else's shit, and then some like famous like photographer that's worked for Time magazine for the past 50 years is like, that's my photo. What the fuck are you talking about? It's in some shitty like ad for a burger place.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but they can trace it all back to the original point. So you can go, well, I recorded this on this date, and I can show you that.
Yeah, that's basically what so the guy I've been working with, Chris Connors.
How do you spell his last name? I'm just curious.
So it's Chris Connors, Concrete Sound, Connors. So it's Concrete Sound, New York. And Chris, basically, the way I got connected to him is he's a Vassar graduate. So we actually had my old guitar teacher last year who retired, Terry Champlin, great guy, taught Chris when he went to school here, I think 5 or 6 years ago. I think 6 or 7 years ago, I think. And gave me his number, basically, and Chris was a little hesitant about kind of working with me because he's never really worked with a college student before. But I came in to do a set of demos, paid him to produce a set of demos for me once the semester was over last spring, almost a couple days after I played that last time I crafted. In the I think it was like a Friday night show that I did for like an hour or two with a couple of my friends there. So drove into New York, got a couple days in studio, and came out with 3 demos. And basically they went well, and he agreed to keep working with me after those. And that kind of turned into a working like partnership throughout the fall. I took the summer off from. I wasn't really able to work with him over the summer because I was playing baseball, which is kind of the other thing that I do, bounce back and forth between music and baseball and kind of trying to pass in school, basically. It's a little weird, for me being at Vassar, such a tough school academically, and I'm lucky to go there, but really I'm just kind of trying to stay above ground compared to everybody else with music and baseball and graduate and get the degree. But I was really lucky being there because that was what enabled me to meet Chris and kind of get started with these music demos. Did you look him up?
Yeah, I looked him up. He's got quite a book of work.
Yeah. He's he owns a little project studio in New York, and but he's kind of like I don't know what you'd call it, like a gun for hire sort of at bigger studios.
Yeah,
where like a
lot of engineers and producers are like that. They don't sit just. They don't have their one studio. You come to them. They usually come to you.
Yeah,
you probably couldn't really swing that until you were really well known.
No, sir.
Yeah. It's I think it's like anything in music or music industry is like a kind of has to be like a self-made path almost. Like there's no, from what I can gather so far, like you don't know how it's going to work out really and in most cases, like it doesn't work out because it's such slim odds to get to a point where a lot of people are listening to your stuff, but Chris has been able to do like a great job. He works on commercials and doesn't work on just producing music for people. He gets hired to go in a studio, makes some money doing that, makes some money editing a commercial.
I got a friend over in Nashville, and he's always been in bands and everything like that. And he's one of those guys that he can just adapt. He's like, whatever. Like he never set out to be like, I want to be in a band and I want to make it big, and that's what I want to do. He's just like, I'm gonna be a band, maybe I'll make it big, and that didn't work out. He's like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna play with this band now, and then play with this band and this band, and now he's a session musician.
That's awesome.
And all he does, he's got like 3 different bands. They're all like either cover bands or bar bands or whatever the hell, but they're pretty popular. Locally, and he just jumps on. They're like, hey, I know this guy. He can play bass, piano, guitar, drums. He's like one of those psychos that can just play whatever the hell you put in front of him. He's an absolute maniac. He's a great dude.
It's valuable.
Yeah.
it really is valuable.
Yeah, and Nashville, he's like, when I got to Nashville, it was just boom. It was like a fucking grenade went off in his head, and he just like, all he could do to not be in every single band he came across. He was like, there was just so much music that I almost couldn't handle it.
Yeah. No, I met a fiddle player who who's friends with my cousin.
What was his name?
So her name is Kenzie.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kenzie.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
It might have been Brian.
No, and no, she does the same thing. Moved to Nashville, gets a gig playing in a bar for somebody, gets a gig, play a show here, play a show there, or play on a record or something. I mean, it's really just find work where you can.
What more could you add? I mean, it kind of sucks. You want to be. I just watched the Motley Crue movie. Did you watch it? The Dirt?
No.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah, I'll check it
I hate
out.
Motley Crue.
I'll check it
but
out.
it's worth the movie. It's fun.
Any music movie I like to watch.
It's totally blown up. You could tell, but I think they did that on purpose. They tried to make a cheesy '80s movie and a biopic at the same time. It's kind of fun.
All right.
But you want, I don't even know where I was going. You want to be in that band that blows up. And oh god, I lost my train of thought. I got stuck on the Dirt thing.
I think what you were getting at is you were saying that it kind of sucks in that you're not in the band
That's
that blows
right.
up.
It kind of sucks if you don't.
If you're not.
If you're
Make
not.
it.
If you don't make it.
Right.
I think in any artistic endeavor, if you're paying your friggin' bills by doing something that you like,
Shit, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I make like 20 grand a year less than I used to.
Yeah, yeah. Same
thing with you. You know.
Same. And
Could
it's
you
like,
imagine
it's like
if
this
10
show.
years ago, whenever you were at the Institute of Audio Research, if someone was like, "You're going to work in a coffee shop,"
You're
like,
gonna
"Are
do
you
all
fucking
this.
kidding me?
You're gonna get
You
into
fucking
the
kidding me?"
industry
Yeah.
in a way, and you're gonna hate it so much that you're gonna quit and work at a coffee shop and start a fucking podcast. What's a podcast?
2 podcasts. You'd be like, what the fuck's
Oh,
a
yeah,
podcast?
2 podcasts. I
You see that giant iPod that you have? Someday you're just going to listen to people talk on it. What?
It was a long time ago when I went to school.
Yeah.
13
You never.
years ago.
It's like you never know the path, and I don't know. Like I still think like. There's no way to predict what's going to happen, and like whatever happens, like you just got to roll with it.
Yeah, with music, you have to be fluid, and you have to be able to roll with. You have to roll with the punches because it's ever changing, and that's the point of it. That it can always change. Different genres can form, and whatever. You get different inspirations to write different types of music and everything like that, or you don't, and you flop. But you have to be able to change. You have to be able to go with it. It's people that just like dig their fucking heels in. Those are the ones that you're like, God damn, guys, come on, help me out here. Like Godsmack is the example that I always use because I saw them recently. And they're playing this, or not recently, like a year or two ago, and they're playing the same fucking shit that they've always played before. It's just like, I get it. You're sticking with your bread and butter and what got you famous, but at the same time, like, how about a little bit of inspiration? How about a little bit of, show me where you're going musically.
Yeah.
Just don't go back into the studio and play the same fucking power chords over and over again.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the spectrum is band like Linkin Park, who went from this gritty kind of like hip hop, industrial metal kind of thing into this weird pop thing. I don't even know what to call it.
I haven't listened to the last probably 3 albums.
Yeah, stuff
at
just
all.
stuff changes
Since
and
like
everything.
Transformers came out.
Yeah.
The first Transformers
Wow,
movie.
with
That's
Shia
when I
LaBeouf.
stopped. That's when I stopped listening to.
Yeah,
Linkin Park.
that's
Shia
right. They
LaBeouf
had
and
the big
Megan
one.
Fox. I know that movie. Yeah.
Everybody know any dude in his 20s knew that movie.
Before she jacked her face all up.
She looks like a 45-year-old Asian woman. It's really strange.
That is amazing, though, like how much, just thinking about it, I mean, you guys aren't country fans, but how much different people evolve over the years. And really, like, you never know, like, where it might depend on a producer that finds you or works on your stuff or kind of changes your sound up or what, like, if you're lucky enough to be signed to a record label, what they want, like, might not be what you want or what they think's going to work for you. like what kind of vibe. I don't really know personally. Like I don't know. I just try to write songs and don't put like limits on it right now. I don't know what like my vibe is going to be, so to speak.
People, I mean, let's say you didn't care what kind of music you played.
Yeah.
You weren't into music, you were just good at it. Your best bet is to play country because the majority of this country is listening to country music.
Yeah.
People don't want to believe that, but Garth Brooks is still selling out fucking arena after arena after arena.
Garth's the man.
There are some people that spent almost $500,000 on his last tour. They went to every single stadium show.
Yeah.
These like retired, super rich Republicans that own like a fucking ranch in Texas. Like,
follow Garth
I'm going to go
around.
to every Garth Brooks show this year.
The complete
And
antithesis of what a Grateful
they're
Dead
paying
fan
$5, $6, $8 grand a ticket to sit in the front row.
Right.
And I mean, it's like NASCAR. People don't realize NASCAR is the second most popular sport in the world. And can you name more than 2 people that watch NASCAR?
Oh, I got you.
Not
I stopped watching
I know a bunch of
NASCAR
people that watch NASCAR.
right after I left North Carolina because I didn't have any friends that did it, and that was why it was fun. It was because you all get together, you fall asleep for half the thing, and then when everybody goes, "Oh!" and then you wake up and you go, "Who wrecked? What happened?" I mean, it's people don't realize up here that most Americans are listening to country.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah. No, I think, like, I found country, not a ton of people from my high school listen to
where you
country
from?
music. I'm from Eastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
So, being basically I'm not from within the city limits, but the
When
high
people
school,
ask where you're from, you're
say
like, yeah,
I say
Philadelphia.
Eastern Pennsylvania or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Closer to Philly than Pittsburgh, basically. And I went to high school on there's a road that separates the city of Philadelphia from everything else. And I went to high school on the high school's on that road. So I say I'm from Philadelphia, and a lot of people from my high school and from the city or from the surrounding suburbs, and there really weren't a lot of people that like country music. Only a couple. One of them was my prom date junior year, Emma, and she liked Kenny Chesney. I remember that. And I didn't know much country music because I wasn't really exposed to that growing up. But what I was exposed to was my dad probably had 2 or 3 CDs in his car that he rotated. One of them was Mellencamp. The other was Bruce Springsteen, the Rising album after 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very like folk. It was a very folk
Come
heavy.
on up for the Rising.
Yeah.
And the other one was Jimmy Buffett. So, like greatest hits, Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, sure.
Margaritaville, like Cheeseburger in Paradise. There was a point where I could sing that album straight through, like without.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All that.
That would be a really interesting concept album for you to just do covers of that.
Jimmy
back to
Buffett.
back. Yeah.
I'd love it. I love Jimmy Buffett. No, but that's kind of what
that would be something like you just put out for free for your fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get permission. Sure, you'd be fine with it.
Yeah, like a Spotify sessions type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Spotify actually wanted me in studio. Yeah, so I kind of grew up on that, and then I found country music as it was probably about 14 or 15. Found 92.5 WXTU, which is, fun fact, the largest country music station in the world is actually in Eastern Pennsylvania. But the catch is there's only one in that area, so they get all the listener base in that area.
Okay.
Whereas down south, Nashville, Dallas, wherever, Atlanta, pick your big city, they have multiple country
When
stations.
I was in North Carolina, there
There's
was
2 or 3
there was
up here.
one alternative station, one classic rock station, probably 20 country stations.
Yeah.
And then like 5 hip hop, like new wave, like whatever, top 40 type stations. Yeah.
So I found that station. Kind of was playing baseball at the time. Playing baseball for a travel team, so on the road a lot, and always driving to practice would put on country radio, and that's how I learned to like country music. Always liked country more than pop or hip hop or anything else. And would go to games and put country on and sing it on the way back. And kind of how I learned to love country music was learning to sing, and that's how I learned to sing as well. Is to basically just try to copy what whoever I heard on the radio was singing. Eventually, my last year in high school, right before I went off to college in Georgia, I cold called the radio station, 92.5 XTU, and asked to speak to whoever was in charge of promotions, and asked them if I told them I was a high school kid, told them I was a big fan, and asked if I could, have an internship. I said I would work for free. I don't care. Like, just can I be around? They said, sure, like, come in for an interview.
That promotions guy got, like, immediately hard when you said
Yeah.
that. He's just like, oh, my God, I don't have to beg people to send me interns? Perfect.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's usually what they have to do.
Yeah,
They got to call around, yeah.
schools and colleges.
Yep.
Yeah, I was by far the youngest person there. I didn't care. But and I showed up for the interview in, we didn't have uniforms at my school, but I think they
Please
thought.
tell me you wore a cowboy hat.
No, I wore the opposite, which was totally the wrong thing to do. I got dressed up like I had like one suit. Still, I think I only have one suit, but I wore it at high school graduation. Probably wear it at college graduation. Hopefully, it still fits. I don't know. I got to check that out. Yeah, so I like put my suit on, like tied my tie, like walked in, was like super ready, and everybody's in jeans. And
it's T-shirts and sweatpants. That's it.
Yeah.
Those fuckers roll out of bed
Right.
in their meatball sub stained shirt, and they go do their show.
Even
and they
when
go
they're
home.
even when they're at the point where they're making millions.
Yeah. No, I think I
Fucking
realized.
I think it gets worse as they make more money.
I always say, do you ever listen to Opie and Anthony? I don't want to derail you, so this will be a quick aside. You ever listen to Opie and Anthony?
No.
These guys are working at Sirius XM, making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
And he had to be scolded by his boss to pull up his sweatpants because he could see his underwear. Like, dude, pull up your pants.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah,
You're
the
a
suit,
millionaire.
the suit was not a good idea.
Yeah, I
It's
realized
like, yeah, you
that.
drove
too.
here in a $300,000 car. Why are you wearing those
Yeah,
pants?
sweatpants. Hey, I guess when you have that much money, you can do what you want. I don't know. But yeah, so I rolled up, way overdressed for this radio job.
How old are you at this point?
17, 18. I don't know if they were, if I wasn't 18, I don't know if they were legally allowed to hire me, but they did anyway.
Yeah, as an intern,
I didn't get
probably
paid
not,
anything
but
anyway.
if you weren't getting paid anything,
Right.
I think they got
Actually, how long ago? This is what, like almost
This
10 years
is
ago?
2014.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was 5 years ago. Like shit with internships and stuff changed a
Yeah,
lot.
now they
Yeah.
gotta pay you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't paid at all. Got to work there over the summer. Got to kind of be part of, like, they'd have an artist in studio, kind of an like artists on the rise would try to do their radio tour. I'd get, like, kind of be in the back doing promotion stuff. Nothing important at all, but I just got to be around it. And that's what really, like, helped to develop my passion for country music, basically. Went down to school, was recruited down to play baseball at Emory, which is in Georgia. Played there, and being down south was awesome, for country music. It's when I made my first trip to Nashville. We drove up, got to see Dierks Bentley in concert, and country star Dierks Bentley. Dierks Bentley, got to see Florida Georgia Line.
I know who they are.
Yeah, they're doing a charity event.
Yeah, I heard they make a bourbon now.
Oh, Old Camp whiskey. I should have. You know what? I really should have brought some. I'll bring some to you at the Craft Cup one time.
Yeah, let's bring a bottle to Creator Fest.
But they're like real entrepreneurs. Actually, they have their own whiskey. They have their own bars and stuff.
Yeah, it's like Beyonce has lifestyle brands.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
they
I
make whiskey.
I get it.
Yeah.
Fucking
If you're a country star, you have whiskey and you have your own honky tonk, basically.
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Lots of fucking people do that now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got Sammy Hagar's got Cabo Wabo. That's his tequila. A fucking Ron White, comedian. He has number one tequila, which I think is a little bit
It's
racist,
a little
just a
racist,
touch racist. It's a tequila aged in bourbon barrels.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds has
Aviation Gin.
aviation gin. Like it's a good. I guess it's just a good. If you got the capital to jump into it, I guess it
pays off.
It pays off.
I
yeah.
didn't know about the aviation gin until the other day when I was talking about Chad's fucking gin to somebody at the bar, and he was saying, "Watch the commercial for it. It's really funny, and it's a very funny commercial." And the end tagline is like, "Aviation gin, an American tradition." Now owned by a Canadian. Yeah.
I got an idea for you, though.
Yeah?
So you do. So this is for your wall. Things we say we want to do, but but don't.
Yeah.
But don't. Okay. Celebrity alcohol tasting, sponsored or by the Dead Radio podcast. You get any kind of like vodka or beer or whatever that
So
is
off
celebrity.
the top of my head, the ones we said, there's
Yeah.
Belvedere is one of them.
Yep.
Oh Christ, and that's it. I just lost it all.
You got to take a shot of each one.
Yeah.
All right,
You got to
so-
rank it. I'll do it with you.
I'll do it. So this is alcohol owned by famous people, and we
Yeah.
just rate them.
Rate
We
it.
could do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. We could,
Yeah, you could rate it.
I mean, it'd be like a $400 trip to the store, but
Yeah,
we'd be stocked for a couple years.
Yeah.
Well, couple of months.
Yeah. You have to save up on that alcohol, but
I'm gonna get aviation gin for next week's show.
I've had it.
Yeah, is it good?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an American gin. I'm not a big fan of American style gins. Yeah,
I don't know if
I like them drier and
Yeah.
more toothy. It was like a little sweeter and a little too smooth for my taste. I like gin that bites back.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find a drink of choice. I'm still
Yeah.
early on. I'm 23, so I don't know yet.
Did you
Yeah.
want another beer?
Sure, I'll take another.
Pabst Blue Ribbon's
Thanks.
going down nice
PBR.
and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already drank my "What are you drinking?"
Like,
preference.
well, since
Roll
we're
it.
since
Thanks.
we're talking about it, how about we do that?
It's "What are you drinking?"
All right.
So we were drinking my mead.
Yeah, Adam made a little bit of mead
good.
that
We
we
talked-
probably could have passed off as piss again.
Yeah.
That was rough.
I reposted that video today.
Jeez. Oh man, you got me good. I don't want to talk about it.
What do you,
My bottle down there. But yeah, Adam made honey wine, delicious mead. I love it, man. That one really came out
made.
great. Homemade
Wow.
made. Wow, that's a good one. That's a nice little callback. I have some Valdo Numero 1 Italian sparkling wine. It's cheap and it goes down like Gatorade.
It looks good.
This is left over from Sunday because I went to a Pink Eggs and Glam drag brunch at Farmers and Chefs.
Okay.
Hosted by Tina Burner. And I laughed so fucking hard, my jaw hurt. Like all day Sunday, I was laughing. My whole face was in pain from laughing. This fucking drag queen was hilarious. Put on an amazing show. But they had it was like $20 for unlimited mimosas. And
It's a good deal.
if you tip the guy, he gave you about a finger of orange juice, and the rest was champagne. So
Wow.
we tipped him out pretty good once we figured that shit out. And I
Nice.
just basically drank Prosecco and champagne and shit all day long.
See, that's the same thing. If you tip your Uber drivers, you tip your bartenders, good things happen.
Yeah.
Basically.
So
weren't we talking about that? Was it last week? Maybe.
what's that?
Like when you go to a wedding, you don't. You said somebody had a philosophy of tipping at the end.
Yeah, that's insanity.
You do not do that. If
You're a crazy person.
trust me, I have worked probably 200 weddings at this point, something like that. It's a lot. It's a good amount of weddings, and I know the people that work in the business, and I've been to a bunch of weddings as a guest. If you go to a wedding or you go to any event that has an open bar, you just scope out the bar, get around. Don't go crazy. Give a $2 tip or whatever on your round. Try to look at whoever is the most competent, the person that looks like they've been there the longest and they're fast. But also never ever ever, and this is going to sound sexist, but it's not. Don't pick your bartender as being a woman because they are always going to be busier. They just are.
Okay.
They just are. Female bartenders probably make 20 to 30% higher in tips.
Really?
Now that part doesn't really matter because they're all pooling their tips. But what I'm saying is don't your point person shouldn't be the female bartender because she's going to be busier.
And she's going to be getting hit on all night.
Because men are pieces of shit. But also,
you're automatically
they're
a
trying,
piece of shit.
They're trying to be chivalrous with their date, and they're the one that's going up to the bar the whole time.
Right.
So it's mostly men that are go to the bar to get drinks, and then if you have a female bartender, they're going to be busy. So you want to take like the middle-aged guy who
just
looks
a good
like
dude.
looks like he's good at his job,
Right.
looks like he's been there a while, looks like he has some experience, and just put $40 in the tip jar.
Damn,
First fucking thing.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he's just handing
But-
you
I
the
don't have that
bottle.
kind of
But
cash.
meet me at the other end. I'll just give you the whole
But the
fucking
thing
bottle.
is,
I don't
if
care
you
anymore.
if you just I mean it's like $20 a person, let's say.
Okay.
You're probably not going to drink 20 drinks each, but you should tip as if you were doing 20%, and you're not paying for anything. So what's $40?
Oh, right. It's a wedding.
Yeah,
I forgot
so,
about that.
Yeah. I mean, you gave a gift, you did all that, but you're there to have a good time. Throw $40 right in, and just say like, "Hey, could I have a round of whatever?" That's for you.
That's for
Make
you.
sure they see it. Don't be
Don't be George Costanza.
Yeah, there was a Seinfeld episode where they didn't say. But just as soon as they hand them to you, say thanks, man. Put $40 in the tip jar.
Yeah.
That guy will ignore everyone at the bar for the rest of the fucking night.
You're getting good service.
Yeah, he's gonna see you 3 back from the bar and go, "What do you need, buddy?" That's what you need to do. And the thing is, like, I'm a bartender, but I work at a restaurant, so it's kind of different. But somebody takes care of you, you take care of them.
Yeah.
And we even have a policy where I work, like people that are good customers, you take care of them. You comp drinks for them.
Yep.
You do that. Everybody still wants to make money, but you take care of your good customers. You have somebody comes in who gets a fucking steak and 6 beers every Saturday night. He's only going to pay for 3.
Right.
He just bought a $45 steak. Like it makes sense to give him 3 free beers.
Yeah.
But,
And then on the flip side of it, if you're the person being comped, always tip as if you paid for those drinks.
Okay.
So 20% on what the full bill would be.
Okay.
And that's when people are going to take care of you.
tipping is very important.
Yeah.
You get shit.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah, if you were known as a person who's constantly tipping 12-13%,
oh yeah,
it gets around, man.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have a server at a new restaurant that you just went to that used to work at the place that you went to that you're known for giving 13%, and you'd be like, fuck that bitch. And then everybody in the restaurant is like, oh, okay, fuck that bitch. Yeah. Fuck that bitch.
You're getting
Definitely.
bad service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily bad service. You're just not getting you're the back of the line.
Yeah.
I'm going to help everyone else out before I help you. I'm going to give you marginal service. I'm going to give you 13% tip worth of service.
Right. You ever do service? Food service?
I've done actually no. That's something that I was thinking about getting a bartending license. But if you said that
well, you don't need a license to bartend in New York.
Or bartending
like the thing.
some kind of class or something. Just I would need to learn.
Don't do it.
Like I don't
Just-
know. The reality is I
yeah.
don't know enough drinks to be able to do that.
Well, yeah.
Shit.
Neither do I.
Oh, all right.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
You
just
need this and
yeah.
imagination.
Yeah, and the fucking PDT cocktail book.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, every restaurant's gonna have like their list of drinks, which they probably should train you how to make, but there are some drinks on our menu I've never made.
There's a cocktail book
Yeah.
I have. It has contemporary cocktails and modern cocktails, and
Okay.
it's this big. It's small. It's just only got like the the home run hitters,
Right.
and that's all you really need because it has a little intro in the beginning: crushed ice, rimming a glass, shaken or stirred, blah 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 blah, all that stuff really quickly, and then it gives you the measurements, and it doesn't say X ounces. It just says measures, so you can do. However strong you want your drink or whatever, and just practice by yourself. And honestly, that's all you really need.
It's a good party trick too.
Yeah.
Yo, fuck yeah, man.
I mean, if you
people
can make
love
it-
it when
yeah.
you can bartend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still don't consider myself a good bartender. I'm still very inexperienced because I worked in a sports bar in North Carolina for like a year. and then I didn't bartend for like 9 years or 10 years or whatever the fuck it was, and now I work 3 days a week as a bartender.
You also have to
Yeah.
watch Cocktail with Tom Cruise.
Yes, it's
that is important.
So
But
so we have Cocktail, and then we have the movie about, what did you say?
No, so the movie's name is Cocktail.
Cocktail,
and it's got
then-
Tom Cruise in it. And
What
then
was the one that you
buy
told me?
a cocktail book. What?
No, the music movie.
The
couple minutes
Dirt.
ago.
By
Yes.
Motley Crue.
Yeah, I got to start writing all this down.
Not by Motley Crue. It's
About Motley.
about Motley Crue. You've seen the Johnny Cash one.
Yeah.
Walk the Line?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then. That's fine.
It's
Yeah.
a super good movie.
I don't know. I'm
and
thinking
Walk
about,
Hard? That's another good one. The Dewey Cox story. You ever seen that?
No, I don't know that one.
It's a very dumb
That
movie
you
with
should
John C.
probably
Reilly.
check it out too.
Okay.
That one's good.
Yeah.
John C. I love John C.
Yeah.
Reilly.
It's a
Yeah.
spoof on Walk the Line.
Definitely
It's
not
fucking
his
hilarious.
best film.
It's hilarious.
It's
It's really
funny, though.
fucking dumb.
Anything with him, Will Ferrell, I
Yeah.
love that shit. Yeah.
So we've been chatting. We've been just clucking like a bunch of hens here.
50 minutes.
50 minutes in.
50.
How
Wow.
about we actually play some country music
Cool.
for and these? So before we started the show, we were chatting. So you wanna? So what do we want to do? We have 3 songs that you recently did with, and these are the Chris Connors. The
Three of the Chris
Connors
Connors
demos.
I have. There's probably about 10 of them overall, but I just picked 3 for today. Yeah.
All right, cool. And we'll play some music. Well, you were gonna play live after the break, maybe like a cover
Do
or
a
something
cover.
like that.
Yeah.
And so we got 3 songs. We'll do one song, come back, you'll play, and then we'll take another break. We'll play 2 more, the other 2, and then we'll shoot the shit some more.
Cool.
But so I got Something About Summertime, Glory Days of Rock and Roll, and Message in a Bottle. Which one do you think we should start with?
Let's start out with Message in a Bottle. It's fun. You know, we're drinking right now.
All right,
Fun
cool.
party song.
You also got to do like the little parentheses with like something else from the song because
Oh,
there's another song
yeah,
that's called
yeah.
"Message in a Bottle."
True. Message in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's John Mayer. There's the Police. There's
multiples.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you got to have that little like,
Christina
you're
Aguilera.
in the bottom left corner of your MTV music video.
Mhm.
It's "Message in a Bottle" with like a little parentheses,
Yeah.
and then some other line from the song.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to think about that. But the reason, so this one's different than those because this one, the idea behind this song was, what does what you're drinking say about you?
Oh, it's lots.
So you're in a bar, and really you can tell a lot about somebody based on what they're drinking. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you're a bartender.
Yeah.
So
That's a Hunter S. Thompson. Like,
yeah,
that's a Hunter S. Thompson said something. I think about
something
that.
to that effect.
Yeah.
yeah,
You can always tell a man by what he drinks or something
basically.
like
Well, so for instance, I had a young lady come in and order a SoCo and lime, and I said no. And she was like, "Can I have a SoCo and lime?" I was like, "Nope." She's like, "What?" I was like, "We don't have that here, because just take a look around." But I can make you an old fashioned, which is like a grown up version of that. I didn't say that specifically. That was what was in my head. And she was like, "You know what? This is really good. I like that it's not as sweet." I'm like, "Thank God."
that.
But yeah, you can tell a lot about a person by just like, "Do you have lemon drop shots?"
When you go to a bar, what's
Yeah.
your drink?
Just beer.
He's still figuring it
I'm
out.
s- I'm
beer.
yeah, I'm pretty
You at least
simple.
do craft beers, or you like Bud
No.
Light? Oh yeah.
No, it's American made. Something. In college, we'll drink like Natty.
Oh yeah. I mean, college. I get
Natty,
it, yeah.
PBR, Bud Light, pretty much. So if I'm
Yeah,
at a bar,
I get PBR when I know I'm like, to be honest, when I know I'm going to be giving out a few because it's kind of cheap,
yeah.
and it's not a bad beer. And I also drink it because like I cannot physically get drunk on it, so that helps. But this is, you know,
The Beast.
the Milwaukee's best.
I'm at the point right now where I don't really know. I'm not educated enough on those fancy
you got too much
beers
other shit going
that
on.
you guys have, that you guys are
You could
used
try-
to. So
let's-
this is good
We're
for
gonna
me.
we're gonna give you some fancy beers at Creative
Okay.
Fest.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
got
Yeah.
some great beer
Cool,
sponsors.
cool.
Creator Fest is a perfect place because there's going to be a couple of fancy beers there.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna get, but I feel like it's gonna be something brown and malty from Cousins Ale Works,
Okay.
and some sort of an IPA from King's
King's.
Court.
King's Court. Yep.
And then we got Slate Point Meadery. It's going to be giving us a hopped mead, which is really good honey wine for gluten-free option.
Oh.
And then we're hoping for maybe one more Sloop, if you're listening. Stop losing packets.
They're listening, and I think they're good.
Yeah.
So, Brian's going to be playing. Bryan Ruby's going to be, you can check him out, Ruby Plays Music on Instagram. He's also going to be playing at our little festival that we're doing, HV Creator Fest, on May 5th. I don't have the times in front of me.
It's 12 to 6.
Well, yeah, that's 12 to 6. I don't know what your
No, we don't want to
yet.
advertise that.
But yeah, just show up.
We'll give you a lineup.
Show up the whole time.
Yeah.
He's the tall guy with the long hair, and who is probably not sure what to drink. So just go over and educate him.
Buy me a drink.
But yeah, buy him a drink,
Yeah.
and then we'll go up
For
he'll go up on
charity.
stage. Yeah, for
Buy
charity.
him a drink for charity.
I'll have my band with me there too.
Yeah.
So, unlike last year was solo. This year I'll have.
Oh, you're gonna have the band.
I'll have the band probably.
That might change the
That's
lineup.
news to me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
it'll be fine.
How many?
All right.
How many people you got?
For that, maybe we'll probably do 4 for that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. You have drums, me on lead vocals, and a little bit of rhythm guitar, drummer, bass, and then I have another person who's like exactly what we were just talking about. One of those talented
One of those
people who can
garbage
do multiple things.
motherfuckers that just you
Yeah.
can't like. What happened to you? Did you get like
It's
a radioactive?
multi-instrumental pieces of
Yeah,
shit.
they fell in radioactive ooze when they were a
old
baby,
Callahan.
and now they can play every instrument they stare at for 15 minutes. It's just ridiculous.
That's a cool skill to have.
Frustrating. I hate every one of them. All right, so this is "Message in a Bottle" by Bryan Ruby. Hey, you can't get this anywhere else, can you?
Correct. You cannot find it.
Why didn't you play the Dead Radio exclusive bumper?
Oh shit, I should have. When we come back.
Another night with the boys, raising hell, making noise, drinking hand, and game on the screen. It's a Friday night and I'm feeling alright, just trying to check out the scene. We got the girls from Dakota pouring down vodka sodas and the cougars sipping cool Chardonnay. I see Captain in the corner, classy teen, he's built to order. What you drinking, babe? I'll send it your way. I got a message in a bottle. What do you think? And do you know what you're doing later on tonight? Why don't you come over, take the weight off your shoulders? We can go dance until the morning light. I know I don't know you, but you're drinking a cold one, and it's been a long day. So baby, what do you say? I got a message in a bottle. We got the Thetas with natty, whiskey guys getting chatty, some ladies out here popping champagne. From tequila to rum, we're all here having fun, but all I wanna know is your name. 'Cause when I turned around at the last touchdown and I saw you look away from your table, your eyes were fixed on me, a shot of destiny. I knew you were willing and able to get my message in a bottle. What do you think? And do you know what you're doing later on tonight? Why don't you come over, take the weight off your shoulders? We can go dance until the morning light. I know I don't know you, but you're drinking a cold one, and it's been a long day. So baby, what do you say? I got a message in a bottle. They say you are what you eat, whether bitter or sweet. But does that count for drinking too? Now I'm no scientist, hell this could be dangerous, but I'm pretty damn sure it's true. I got a message in a bottle. What do you think? And do you know what you're doing later on tonight? Why don't you come over, take the weight off your shoulders, baby? We can go dance until the morning light. I know I don't know you, but you're drinking a cold one, and it's been a long day. So baby, what do you say? I got a message in a bottle. So pour one for me, and come on, take a seat. You can throw away the key, the night's as young as can be, and I know you are the one for me. I got a message in a bottle. I got a message in a bottle. I got a message in a bottle.
Hi, I'm Andy Reid from Catskill Cabin Conversations on WGXE 90.7 FM. You're listening to Dead Radio Podcast. Enjoy. Do not fear.
Message in a Bottle by Bryan Ruby.
Message in a bottle.
So, double check that headphone cord right there so it's not rubbing up against your strings. I just noticed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, bitch.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so welcome back. That was a really quick break. One of our quickest ever, I would say. Didn't want to take away from Brian's music, and I didn't want to play your stuff and then go into like fucking, I don't know,
Hardcore
like,
metal?
Yeah, like Shadow Witch or Hell Ride 102.
Yeah, pretty different vibe.
So anyway, it smells funny down here. It's not me for once. Yeah, so you're gonna play some a cover?
Cover? Yeah, I'll do cover.
What?
30 seconds.
Oh, Adam needs 30 seconds. So talk. So message in a bottle about drinking.
Drinking song. It's country party song. Feel good party song. Lyrics. They say you are what you eat, whether bitter or sweet. But does that count for drinking too? Now I'm no scientist. Hell, this could be dangerous, but I'm pretty damn sure it's true. I got a message in a bottle. That was the. Yeah, it was my idea. It was a fun song to write.
Yeah.
My little brother, Justin, who actually just got his driver's permit. So if you're on the roads, if there's anybody that watches this show in Pennsylvania and you're on the roads right now, stay off the roads because he's coming for you. He actually helped me a little bit with that one.
No kidding.
Yeah. And he's not super musical, but he gave me some advice there, which was fun to write a song with my little brother.
See, that's the thing. Like, you also, somebody might not know about music, but not everybody that listens to music knows about music. So you also have to listen to the feedback from just the casual listener too.
Right.
It's like if they hear something, then they're like, "Well, that sounds weird." Yeah, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Well.
Yeah.
It's just opinion, man. Like,
yeah.
You love country music,
yeah.
and I can't stand it. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I was like, I fucking hate, was it Imagine Dragons? That was the band. It just triggered me. It popped up on the Pandora. And I practically, I dropped whatever I was doing to go thumbs them the fuck down. I can't stand that band. I think they're the worst thing that happened to rock music in a long time. Alternative music. But, I can't stand them. But there's people out there that love them.
Right.
And for whatever reason, they love them. For whatever reason, somebody's heard Nickelback and was like, wow, they fucking rule. Like, it just...
You're not a big Nickelback fan?
No!
So I won't sing Nickelback right now.
I mean, you can. It won't bother me.
Standing in line, the clubs will never get in. It's like the bottom of the night. Nobody can do his voice, though. His voice is tough.
Well, he's got this weird kind of rasp to it.
He's got a
giant his mouth is really big.
I don't think that.
And his head is really small.
Yeah, I think that's just really bad for your voice to do over like years and years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm through it. It's like a really deep. I can't even do it myself because it's really raspy, like gravelly.
It almost sounds like an effect, which wouldn't surprise me.
Could be.
I don't think it is.
Could be.
Nah, these had pretty much the same voice. No,
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. Some people get weird.
That's the thing. Like you don't know what anybody's gonna like, and you don't even know what you're gonna like. Basically, it's just and the reality is you might be thinking about music all the time, like me, like writing songs and stuff. But the reality is, the average person that might listen to your song is really just not thinking about music as much as you think about it, and they all they care about is if it sounds good. They don't care about they don't really care about why you wrote it or who you wrote it for. It's really about you listen to music for yourself.
Yeah. You're looking for it to catch you in some way. To give you something, no matter how it was written. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
So, what are we playing?
So this is Chris Stapleton, Broken Halos.
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah,
This is an
one of my
open mic.
favorite
This is an
songs.
open mic Stapleton.
I love this song.
Stapleton. Can I just make a quick change before you start?
Yeah.
Because that microphone and that wire is covering your whole face.
Oh, okay. Do you want to move it here?
Oh, I wouldn't move it too much.
Ooh, all right, I'll let you move it. Here we go.
Here we go. Hey, that's better. Oh, here.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
It doesn't matter if it's covering your mouth. It's just to get like the wire.
Yeah.
Good.
That's much better.
That should be good. I'm gonna mix on the fly, so we'll go.
Okay.
See my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They're all gone now, wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Angels come down from the heavens just to help us on our way. Come to teach us, then they leave us and they find some other soul to save. See my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They're all gone now, wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Broken halos that used to shine. Don't go looking for the reasons. Don't go asking Jesus why. We're not meant to know the answers. They belong to the by and by. They belong to the by and by. See my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to shine. They're all gone now, wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Broken halos that used to shine. Broken halos that used to shine. See my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's a popular one at open mic too. When you're like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do Broken Halos by Chris Stapleton. There's like a couple people like, like you hear gasps,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck this guy is.
I know this song, but I feel like I've heard it more played by you at open mic than I've heard
Than on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on country radio a lot.
Yeah, Mike Bleakley's checking in a little while ago, but I wasn't able to interject. There are 4 country stations here.
Yeah. WHUD, The Wolf, there was 104.3 or something like that. Like, there's a bunch of different ones, yeah. For sure. What's the deal with Chris Stapleton for you? Like,
I love Stapleton. Stapleton's.
How long's he been around? I'm not familiar. I know the name only from you, really.
He's been around for a while in that he was a songwriter before he was known as a singer himself.
Okay.
So he wrote a ton
Which
of his
is what
songs.
you're hoping for, right?
I'm hoping. I don't know what's going to happen with me. I'm just hoping something happens.
Just be flexible.
I want to sing, want to write songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much, I'm not trying to define it quite yet. Just want to figure out how to do that myself and hope something works out.
You're not trying to change the game?
I'm trying to change the game. No. Yeah, Stapleton, so he moved to Nashville, worked as a songwriter, got a publishing deal, wrote for Kenny Chesney, Luke Bryan, wrote for pretty much everybody that you can think of. He, was very successful. His song "Never Wanted Nothing More" for Kenny Chesney was a huge hit. One of my favorite Kenny Chesney songs. That was him. There's videos of him doing that just acoustic by himself. And in one of the videos, he said, like, that song bought him a house.
Oh shit!
Like, so, I mean, it's rare. Obviously, very tough to have a hit song. But if you're the guy that writes a hit song, it pays.
Yeah, even take what, a small percentage of what that could potentially be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then basically after that, I don't know what record label he's with, but, wanted to pursue his own stuff. And he's sort of known right now as like the thing with Chris Stapleton is he's known as as your favorite singer's favorite singer. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's
like,
one of them.
He's like a guy who's really well liked in Nashville, I think, from what I've heard. Has an awesome voice, has like a gravelly voice, high voice, even though he's a big guy. Like he can go up high. It's very tough to sing. So even this is kind of knocked down a few keys from where he sings it at. I think he sings it. He sings it like here. So here. So it'd be, see my share of broken halos. That's really high, but that's his. That's his voice.
Is that something you could sustain for a whole
song? The problem is that's the beginning, so that's not. That's like
that's not even the.
That's not the high part.
Yeah.
So I have a lower voice, although I can reach up a little bit. But I knock it down just to make it a little easier. It's really hard to sing Stapleton. But he's a guy, like, he's pretty down to earth from all the interviews that I've watched. And just kind of the thing I like about country musicians is that a lot of them seem like they would be cool to hang out with. Like they're
Garth.
Not. Like Garth, yeah.
Yeah, like
where are the bodies, Garth? Sorry, inside joke.
Have a beer with them,
it's
hang
an
out,
inside
whatever.
joke for tens of thousands of people that listen to a different podcast.
Yeah.
You ever listen to your mom's house podcast?
No.
You should try it out.
All right. I'll
Yeah,
check
it's
it
all
out.
the whole show is inside jokes, but they're convinced that Garth Brooks is a serial killer.
They think
Oh, man, that's fighting words.
They think
right there.
they think he kills it like fans.
Oh, you can't
Like,
say that to a
he
country
invites them
guy.
backstage and he kills them and
Oh,
buries
man.
them underneath the venues that he plays or some shit like that.
Conspiracy theory.
It's crazy.
So every time, like Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky, they're both comedians and they're married. Every time they go do an interview and somebody brings up Garth Brooks, they always like go, "Where are the bodies, Garth?" Like they just say it.
Wow.
Tell us where the bodies are.
Yeah, his social media is so awkward.
Really?
He's like, "Hey guys, we're here in Studio G." He's just like good stuff, fun stuff, neat stuff, and he always has that like drop in register for the last thing he says that makes you think you're about to die. It's just like good stuff, fun stuff, neat stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it or not.
So clearly, you like country music because you follow Garth Brooks on Instagram.
No, I only know this through this podcast.
Okay.
Adam's got a chip on his shoulder about Garth Brooks anyway because of that
Yeah, 'cause
Aerosmith song.
Which Aerosmith song?
I think it's "We're All Here, but It's Not All There Tonight" or something like that. And
don't know what you're
"Back
talking
in the
about.
Saddle." I think Garth Brooks
He
does.
did it Back in the Saddle. No, this is the first I'm hearing about that. No, I
remember specifically you complaining.
No, I was complaining about Garth Brooks beating Pearl Jam for the fastest selling album ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Do you know about this?
Huh.
Pearl Jam released Versus in, what was that, 95? Something like
Yeah.
that? No,
And then
no,
several
I'm sorry.
years later.
93. No, it wasn't several years. It was like
Wasn't long after.
they broke the record for most album sales. It was like 996,000 records sold in a week.
Yeah,
or something like
the
that.
time frame that they put on it was a week.
And then a month later, Garth Brooks put out his and went well over 1 million.
Yeah, and he also partnered with Walmart at like some ridiculously low price.
Yeah,
and came out with 4 commemorative album covers.
And that's when
So
Pearl Jam
people
was
were
like
buying-
playing to nobody.
Yeah, people were buying
4 different copies.
all 4 copies
Right.
because
It's
they
kinda
were like
smart.
$6.99.
Pretty smart.
Oh, it was very smart. He broke the record, but
Yeah.
I feel like that was illegitimate.
Pearl Jam did the same, but Pearl Jam did the same thing many years later, but releasing all those bootleg.
But they did it to get out of a record deal.
I know that, but
Yeah.
still.
I get it. You're Pearl Jam guys.
Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
I'm not as angry about it as I was then.
I don't
for sure.
I don't hate Garth.
No, I don't hate him anymore.
At all.
I hated him for that reason. But now he's just entertaining because he's just like a weird old guy who doesn't understand the internet.
Well, actually, I think so. I think the thing with Garth was he took a break.
Yeah.
I think he took a break to raise his kids or something like that.
He disappeared for quite a
He
while.
went off the map completely.
and then all of a sudden now he's back, and
Yeah, doing really well for himself.
but it's so crazy. Like he goes away, and then he's like now he's got his studio. He's doing a radio show, and he also has and his social media. He just stepped up his social media game, and now everybody's like, and now he's back. He's fucking back.
Someone said, Garth, you need a social media presence. I'm going to handle it for you, but I need you to be in certain places at certain times so that I can take video of you and post things. And then it was weird.
But that's
there's
shows
this
you
whole
how-
thing where he's like, we are officially on Facebook. That's how he said it.
Like it's a secret.
Yeah.
We're here in studio.
Finally,
with
we are
Bryan
on
Ruby.
Facebook.
I'm gonna take this knife and I'm gonna plunge it into your sternum.
The Dead Radio Podcast with Bryan Ruby.
Do you want to play another one?
Sure, I'll play another
One
got
more
something
cover
else?
for the road.
Cool.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you want to do one of yours or you want to do a cover or...
We'll do a cover.
All right.
So whenever you're ready. You know any Faith No More?
I do not.
All right.
About Pearl Jam.
Actually,
I do not. We're going country.
write this down. You might get a kick out of this
I'll pull
song.
this up on my phone.
Faith No More does a song off of their album King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime. It's called "Take This Bottle," and it's a country song.
Yeah.
And you might get a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, please do. It'll make this old man really touch this old man's heart.
Cool.
And
Okay.
music.
This is In Color by Jamie Johnson. Slow country song. I said, Grandpa, what's this picture? Here is all black and white. It ain't real clear. Is that you there? He said, yeah, I was 11. Times were tough back in 35. That's me and Uncle Joe just trying to survive a cotton farm in the Great Depression. And if it looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other, you should have seen it in color. Yeah, this one here was taken overseas in the middle of hell. 1943 in wintertime, you can almost see my breath. That was my tail gunner, old Johnny McGee. He was an high school teacher from New Orleans, and he had my back right through the day we left. And if it looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other, you should have seen it in color. Yeah, pictures worth 1,000 words, but you can't keep what those shades of gray keep covered. You should have seen it in color. Yeah, this one here is my favorite one. This is me and Grandma in the summer sun, all dressed up the day we said our vows. You can't tell it here, but it was hot that June, and that rose was red and her eyes were blue. Just look at that smile, I was so proud. And if it looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other, you should have seen it in color. Yeah, pictures worth 1,000 words, but you can't keep what those shades of gray keep covered. You should have seen it in color. That's the story of my life, right there in black and white. And if it looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other, should have seen it in color. Oh, yeah, pictures worth 1,000 words, but you can't keep what those shades of gray keep covered. Should have seen it in color. Thank you.
Well done.
My headphones fell off.
Yeah, you handled that well, though. I'm glad I caught the look on your face when it happened.
Like, oh no.
That happened to me during a recording one time. I was recording a song with my old band, and my head, I was just, bobbing my head, and most of my cans came off, and I was just like, I just kept playing. I looked at the engineer, and he was just like, just go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta roll with it.
Yeah, that's another one from the open mic, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that song, though. I dig that one.
So do I.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. I don't think I've heard it from open mic with you. I haven't been in a couple of months, but yeah. It's another one of those where you're just like, God, stop making me sad. I'm trying to do a podcast.
I know. Oh, God damn. The fucking the guy last week that we had, you might know him, Dennis Fab. He plays a lot. I don't know. He plays this song called Mr. McCullough. It's just like fucking, God damn it.
Amy came home the other day, and she's like, that Mr. McCullough song is really sad. She's like, I don't want you to go to our daughter's wedding in my favorite suit when I'm dead.
Yeah.
It's a it's an amazing song that will make you just feel terrible for a week. Yeah.
So I got a song to cheer you up.
Oh yeah?
Something about summertime.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's a good segue.
Good transition.
Well
Quality
done.
segue.
But
Made for the radio.
I really want to do this, though, because all these songs are...
Holy Santa Claus shit.
It's a Dead Radio exclusive.
Yeah, so these aren't out yet, right? Like you can't really get them anywhere. So
They're like,
Yeah.
I think they're, what are they, like specific for media types like us and
Just trying to shop it
and
for me.
yeah, you're just shopping
I
this
am
stuff, right?
shopping him around,
Yeah.
so to speak. Yeah.
do you have any desire to like put out like a little like an EP and sell it or anything like that?
Yeah, I've thought about it. All my friends at school have asked, like, when's it
Yeah.
coming out? When are you just gonna put it all
I
up
mean,
on Spotify?
because honestly, you have 1 month. You could seriously put out a 3-song EP and sell them at Creator Fest.
True,
But
yeah.
there might be.
But the catch is that
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
yeah, there's a catch. The catch is that I kind of don't want to do that because the only people right now that would listen to them would be basically people that follow me and my close circle on social media, friends, family, or whatever. I'm kind of hoping that I can use these songs and kind of get them to other people down the line. So really what we're trying to do is build a base of songs kind of in a like a file almost that I have that I can say if somebody, if like
Like a
good
portfolio. Call it.
sort of
Yeah.
country portfolio.
Yeah.
I don't know if they.
So you don't want to
Yeah.
get like famous in your own right until you can kind of shop this to the right people.
I want to shop it. I want to have good songs, shop it to the right people, and be able to do it at a time where I feel like, I'm in Nashville, like it's time to shop the songs, time to put out an EP. I have time under my belt as a songwriter so that the songs are getting better than Message in a Bottle and Something About Summertime. And I'm proud of those songs because I put a lot of effort into them, but, the idea as a songwriter is to develop. So I'm sure like, hopefully if
you don't want to put
goes-
out something that you don't feel is like the utmost of what it could be. Is
right,
kind of what you're saying?
and also,
Yeah.
well, it's a little bit of that, but mostly it's just that nobody would hear it right now.
Okay.
And I would want to be in a place, like professionally, and career wise, to be able to get that song to the right people so that more people can hear it instead of just putting it up for not a lot of people.
Yeah, well,
That makes sense.
The other thing about that is also it makes a lot of sense what you're doing because if you're some record labels, if they pick you up, your old music is bunk. They don't want it. They don't want to touch it, and if they do want it, they want a piece of it.
Yeah.
So it's better for them to pull new music out of you that they can control a little bit. Now, in a way, you're almost protecting yourself from that because you're shopping around this music, and when a label says, "Oh, this is cool. How many fucking CDs have you put out for this thing? How many people have this on?" Nobody.
Right. If I put out 7 CDs and only 1,000 people, I have 1,000 streams total. Like that doesn't make me look very good.
Right. And then the record label's like, "Huh, so you've only been shopping this professionally." So now they can take that song, they can develop it,
Right.
but
Change
you
it
don't
up
have to
and-
toss it. You don't have to get rid of it because a lot of them will say, "No, it's fucking gone." Like most of the album, like Pearl Jam, their first album, I guarantee you there's like 5 or 6 songs on that never saw the light of day, that they're hardcore Seattle people. Like there's like 10 people in Seattle that know a bunch of songs that they used to do that they don't they will never play
and
ever
now
again.
because there's no internet back then, no one's ever going to see it.
Band called Toadies. They put out their the Possum Kingdom. Everybody knows that friggin' song. They tried to put out a second record. It didn't take, like nobody wanted it, and then they re-recorded another. The record label was like, "Fuck these songs, we don't want them. Make more." So they re-recorded it, a totally new album, totally new songs, and put that one out. They came back later on after they were out of their record deal, and then put out those other songs that they
Unreleased and
had.
stuff,
Yeah, those
yeah.
not unreleased. It was actually specifically an album that they made. They just re-released them.
Yeah.
But they had a little swing this time because they were a popular band. They were coming back. They had a little bit of momentum for the whole 90s alternative bands coming back and making new music wave, if that makes any sense. So they were able to do that. But yeah, you're by not letting your music out there for the masses, you're also protecting it at the same time.
Right.
So it's just like it's this weird kind of balancing act that all these
Yeah.
musicians have to play.
You're playing the
when it
long
comes
game.
to when it comes to
That makes
rights and
sense. Think so.
publishing and
Yeah.
licensing, and I think you're on a good, because down the line, you're going to be shopping this stuff. If nothing happens, it's still yours.
Right.
And if
I have the
nothing happens,
copyrights.
you can always say, "Fuck it, I'm tired of trying to shop to these labels. They don't want me." And I'm not saying this is going to happen to you. I'm
And
just
I can
saying
put
this
it
is
up.
you could put it up
Yeah.
and then be locally a hit, and then boom, you got something.
Right.
But it's still
Yeah.
yours and untouched.
Yeah.
And
It's
unfucked with.
it's play like you said. It's playing the long game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And kind of betting on yourself, sorta. But I still don't know what I'm doing. Still don't like. It'd be great to have somebody was more experienced, like manager or something, who has experience doing this and could say, "This is what you're going to put this out. Then you're going to wait this amount of time. Then you're going to put this one out, and then wait, and then we're going to put this out because of X. We're not putting this out because of Y. This one fits with your image. This one doesn't."
I mean, it makes sense, and we've always concentrated like hard local, so that like what you're talking about never occurred to me, but it does make sense.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I don't know. If that's the right answer or not.
Well, we've had the conversation on the show of like, hey, I have a record label now, and now you just do. You just say I have a record label, and then you put it out on your own record. You go down to the county clerk's office, you set up a sole proprietorship, and then you just pay someone to produce, like to put together you record in your fucking parents' basement or Ryan's basement or whoever's basement,
right?
And you fucking make an album and you just put it out and self-distribute. I mean, it's just that simple now. But that whole infrastructure is getting less and less important. But if you're talking about something like the country music industry, which is so huge, I feel like the label, the big country star, all that stuff might be a little bit more relevant. Whereas if you're making fucking punk music, like that might not be.
Yeah.
So I never really thought about the other side of it.
Yeah, it's just like I said, you have to. Being fluid, you have a certain goal, and that's to be a songwriter. Not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure you want to be on stage and you want to have your own band. You want to be Bryan. Oh, the fucking Budokan welcomes Bryan Ruby and Live at Red Rocks.
Oh, for Creator Fest, are you doing Bryan Ruby and?
Actually, so last year, good story here. Last year, my friend Devin Wilson. What's up, Devin? He's probably not watching.
Is it Bryan Ruby and the Devin Wilson Band?
No, it's Devin said we're gonna make. I said we need a band name. I don't want to call it Bryan Ruby because I'm in college. Devin said Ruby's in the rough. Ploy off of Diamonds in the rough.
Yeah,
so we did
absolutely.
It. Ruby's in the rough, and then this year because we have slightly different members because a couple people left the band, we added a couple people. We were Ruby's Volume 2. So all the posters, like every person in the band, has a little peace sign up here.
All right.
It's like Volume 2.
Do we need to change the lineup, like the name, or do you want to just say Bryan Ruby?
It's totally fine. I don't care.
Well, we had a bunch of conversations about like so-and-so and it's like, why are you more important than the band?
Right. True.
I found that way, and it goes back to like the lyrics make up 50%. You know, it's like very few bands. AC/DC is the only one I can think of. Maybe Genesis to a certain degree, where the lead singer leaves or dies, and it still does fine.
Journey,
still the same thing. Journey did it, yeah. But I know like 2 songs from
Leonard
Journey.
Skinner. A bunch of them died in a plane crash.
Yeah,
they're still.
But I
going,
also feel like they're just touring, playing the old songs.
Right. I think
with
they
a
have some
different
new
lead
stuff.
singer.
Actually, the
Face No More.
The
I'm
keyboard
not a
player
big fan.
from Leonard Skinner. I'm a big Leonard Skinner fan. So
that's weird.
I know I'm talking to like punk rock.
I like Leonard Skinner too. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying it. Like
keyboard player followed me the other day, and I like freaked out in my dorm room. It's like, yes, I made it.
We got a like by Adam Carolla once.
Yeah, one time. That was a long time ago.
It was, and
that was
nothing came
we
out
were
of it.
like 11 followers on YouTube at that point.
And then the part of you's like, oh my God, I made it. And the other part of you's like, how the hell did they see that? Why are you looking at my stuff?
So how about we take a quick break and we'll come back. I do want to talk about the guitar.
Oh no.
So what kind of? So it's a Martin guitar.
Yeah.
Is that mahogany or walnut or is stained maple?
Can we save it for after the break?
Let's save it for after the break.
I need something about summertime to make me feel good before I start talking about this topic.
All right, so we'll leave that. We'll fluff the audience with that, and we'll come back, and then we'll play this something about summertime. Bryan Ruby. Ruby plays music on Instagram. He's going to be playing at Hudson Valley Creator Fest, presented by Dead Radio Podcast, on May 5th. It starts at 12. Music starts at 12:15, and then we go till 6. It's a whole slew of bands, including Bryan Ruby with Ruby's Volume 2.
Yes.
Got
it. Got it, man. Nice.
His new EP, part of his new EP.
Yeah, sure.
That you can't
Wait,
get.
I have a question.
That's not allowed.
What's up?
So if your name is Ruby, R-U-B-Y, it would be the possessive ''S, Ruby's Volume 2.
Rubies.
Or would be the plural of Rubies, the noun, which would be IES.
See, I think it was Ruby's IES in the rough when I saw the headline.
I honestly did not think about that.
Well, now you have to.
Yeah.
The way I spelled it is RUBIES.
All right.
Rubies. It was Rubies in the Rough, Ruby's Volume 2.
It's just a question of who we're talking about. Are we talking about a fictional ruby, which would be like a gemstone?
This is actually,
or you?
I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Ruby red ring.
There
It's
you go.
actually real. It's probably the most. It's not that expensive, but it's the most expensive. Well, this is the most expensive thing I own.
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that
There
too.
we go.
There's
All right.
something
Sorry to
about
interrupt.
summertime, breezes blowing
Oh, I like
across
this
the
song. I've heard
sky.
this
There's
song. We played it,
always
right?
time to take a drive.
We'll be right back.
Go away for the weekend, drive to the beach, feel the sand between your toes, get a couple days out of the heat. It's a storybook, picture perfect July setting. It was no more than a fling, but I wanted to prolong the ending. 2 blocks to the water in that little beach town, where the waves are always rolling. You can always hear that sound, because there's something about summertime, breezes blowing across the sky. There's always time to take a drive. God bless the simple times, with days of cotton candy skies and starry love songs, sleepless nights, tangled up your hand in mine. There's something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Something about summertime. Couple hours east of home, meet somebody unknown, and the magic of the summer season starts to take hold. I'd wait under the cover of the boardwalk stairs for the shadow of your sandy colored bleach blonde hair. There were holes in your jeans, I didn't care at all. We were living in the moment, I couldn't wait to take them off, because there's something about summertime, breezes blowing across the sky. There's always time to take a drive. God bless the simple times, with days of cotton candy skies and starry love songs, sleepless nights, tangled up your hand in mine. There's something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Something about summertime. Bonfire beaching into sandy toes, sleeping, shooting star across the sky, catch the morning sunrise. Felt like we'd be there forever, thought that we could have it all, till we drifted away like the leaves before. And there's something about summertime. Breezes blowing across the sky. It's always time to take a drive. God bless the simple times with days of cotton candy skies and starry love songs, sleepless nights. Tangled up your hand in mine. There's something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Something about summertime. There's something about summertime. Grab your love across the line. Tangled up your hand in mine. There's something about summertime. There's a missing sound today, crossed over and faded away. Crowd still there but so pale you can barely see them. Army full but no one there to lead them. What happened to the days when rockers reigned with Freddie up on the stage to lead the gang, glorified as immortals that lived amidst the men, till the day the King of Queens reached his end. So I'm pouring over photographs of people who found center stage their home, who sang for glory, sang for fame, sang through every part of the soul. Started like you and me, but were carried away by the melodies they wrote. Wish I could travel back in time to the glory days of rock and roll. What happened to the days when teens would revel in the melodies they wrote? All it took was 22 minutes at Wembley to bring the world back its whole. 100,000 people clapped to the TV like they've heard it all before. Left the stage with 70,000 English screaming, begging them for more. For more. So I'm pouring over photographs of people who found center stage their home, who sang for glory, sang for fame, sang through every part of the soul. Started like you and me, but were carried away by the melodies they wrote. Wish I could travel back in time to the glory days of rock and roll. Of people who found center stage their home, who sang for glory, sang for fame, sang through every part of the soul. Started like you and me, but were carried away by the melodies they wrote. Wish I could travel back in time to the glory days of rock and roll.
Hey, this is Vinny from the band Sponge, and you're listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
Woo! That was a banger.
Save the rock song for you guys, because I know you're rock guys.
That was cool, man. I like that one a lot.
That's a cool
Yeah,
one to do live.
And I've heard it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I think acoustic.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I envision with that song, is something more like that. You know, you need instrumentation for that. Big drums.
That's
big
that
electric
fucking.
guitar.
That's the encore song.
Yeah.
That's where you like, you know, that's what people go home
Yeah.
going, holy shit, let's fuck.
Yeah, last
I'm not
year.
going to write that down.
All right. Yeah, last year at Battle of the Bands, I wrote that for Battle of the Bands
Really?
at school last year and pulled that out. And it was announced, you know, that's the song I wrote for this show, and played it. And the guy, our electric guitarist at the time, did a great job. And it went over really well. And I stopped playing it in like open mics and acoustic settings just because that's kind of a bigger song. You can't just give it justice with like just an acoustic.
Yeah, well, that's the
Basically.
thing. After the, you know, when the chorus kicked in, I was like, oh shit, I've heard you play this, and that it was great when you're playing it on, you know, just on your own. But that, like, man, and that sounded great, and that fucking solo, he ripped the shit out of that.
Killed it.
Because he did a lot of weird things in there that I wasn't kind of expecting. A lot of strange runs that
Yeah.
I couldn't even fathom doing myself. But you know, he's
Yeah.
got a good ear, man.
Yeah.
That was solid. It wasn't just the typical fucking solo, just constantly bending notes the whole time. He had those nice fucking, some really like metal licks in there. That was pretty good. I liked it a lot. And yeah, you got me.
Thanks. Thanks. That's the goal. That's the goal.
So I just really wanted to quickly talk about before we end this. So you got a beautiful Martin guitar here.
I do.
And is that
Yes.
mahogany?
Yes, I believe so.
I gave it a whiff, and it did. It didn't smell like maple. It didn't smell like walnut. So I don't know what mahogany smells like, but it smells
I have
nice.
many leather-bound books.
Books, yeah.
And my home smells like of mahogany.
It's a beautiful sounding guitar.
Yep.
A lot of high end on it, which is good. But
Yep.
I heard this at last week's open mic on last week's open
camera?
mic Thursday. I heard this loud from the
Right
back.
There
I
at
don't know
the
if anybody
end.
can see. Well, everybody can see that. I heard this loud thunk in the back, and I'm like, "Who just hit their head?"
Yeah.
Oy, oy, oy.
It
Who
was
just hit
pretty
their
rough.
head? And I'm looking at you with holding your guitar ever so gently. Your friend Sam's face beet red, more beet red than it usually is.
Staring at the guitar like I just lost my best friend in battle.
And then I looked at my wife and Kareem and my sister-in-law were sitting there, and they had this face on like,
Yeah.
and I went, "What happened?" And I was like, "Did he just drop his fucking guitar?"
I gave the guitar to my friend Sam, who's on my baseball team. He's also a guitar player. He's a freshman.
Wonderful
He's
musician.
Good musician.
He's very
yeah,
good.
absolutely. He's good. He started to write his own songs. He does mostly country songs, mostly actually Americana. So much more rootsier country than I do. Mostly what I do is pop country or country rock. And I've been encouraging him. He's kind of shy. To show up to open mic. You can come with me. And he didn't bring his guitar this last time. So I said, "It's cool, man. You can just use mine." So I handed it to him, and he dropped it.
See, now, I didn't see the whole thing, but when Brooke explained it to me, I was just like, I'm gonna explain to you what happened. I'm gonna mansplain what exactly happened.
Yeah.
Brian handed Sam the guitar by the neck.
I did.
And
as you're supposed to.
Most guitar players will
Right.
take the guitar, receive the guitar by the neck.
Yeah.
He received it by the strap, and the strap, they
Yeah.
don't stick unless you got a locking strap. They don't stay on easily.
Yeah.
And I knew it once I heard the quick story. I was like, I knew exactly what happened. And you were standing in the library, so it's a little step up. Did that thing fall right on that on the edge of the step down? Or
Yeah, it kind of fell in an awkward spot. Which
It
is
still
why.
sounds good.
Sounds good. I think I'm going to get it repaired. I don't know. I haven't investigated yet how much that's going to cost.
It's gonna cost
A
a
lot.
fucking lot.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you right now.
So
Yeah.
not to be. I'm going to be very lay person about this.
Do it.
What does a guitar cost? What's that guitar.
This one?
Like I'm not.
So
I know like it might be a faux pas to just be like, how much did your whatever cost?
I have a
But
number in my head.
I don't know. I have no idea. Our listeners have no idea.
Yep. So this is not a top end Martin.
Okay.
So it's not as expensive, even though it looks nice. It is a real Martin, but
Yeah.
it's not as expensive as you might think.
Mhm.
So this is not thousands and thousands of dollars.
Okay.
By any means.
That was the number I
couldn't-
was thinking of.
If I were to
couldn't afford that.
And when I held it up and
If
I
I were
looked
to-
in the sound hole and I saw like where it was made and everything, I was just like, oh, okay.
If I were to
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
like
Okay.
a guitar that is kind of okay would be like $500.
Yeah, that sounds right.
yeah,
yeah.
This one's I think
So
I got this one for about $700.
Okay.
okay.
And it's relatively new and it's in good shape. And I
So you bought it, but you bought it
I trade
used?
it well. No, I bought it new.
You bought it
I
new,
bought
but
it new.
it's relatively new to you.
Relatively
Okay,
new
yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite decided. I am going to get it repaired. I like the guitar. I don't like playing with the big hole in the back. But
Can you write that down?
I got it.
Damn,
so
I'm getting
so
quoted.
here's where I'm at.
Right.
There's constantly times I was a mechanic for many years.
Right.
And like Ryan was an audio engineer for many years, I'm no longer that thing. There have been plenty of conversations where I've told people the repair on your vehicle is more than your vehicle is
will
worth.
cost. Right. Yeah.
So you should move on to a new vehicle.
A new one. Right. Thing is, I really like this guitar.
I know, but let's say they come at you and say it's going to be $500 to fix. Wouldn't it make more sense to get a new $700 guitar?
Or
But
may
have you
just
been
play with it broken
have
for a
you?
while.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But have you? It's one of those things where I have many things where I've had this so long I'm attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about Ryan's guitar.
This
for
is a
sure.
perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where you're going like, yeah, there's nothing left of it that's the original thing, but I'm going to pump money into it because it has sentimental value. Are
Right.
you at that point? Because there's an artist, Monty Montgomery. Have you heard of him?
No.
You should listen to Monty Montgomery.
I'll write that down
you
too.
dig him.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, so he's very blues, it's bluesy, bluegrassy, kind of late 70s folky.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
really hard to explain.
So it probably
But
relates to country a little
He's
bit.
a solo artist. He has played on the same
A little
guitar.
bit of country sound to it.
He's played on the same guitar for his entire career.
Yeah.
His guitar, there's nothing left of it that's the original guitar. Like, it's all been replaced.
Yeah.
And he has songs about his guitar. He's played on just the one guitar. So I think there's only like 1% of the thing is like, it's probably like the fucking, tuners and like.
Probably
yeah.
not.
Probably
Maybe
not.
the neck.
Maybe. I don't know. But he has a song called Old Friend, and it's about his guitar. But he's played on just the one guitar. And at that point, it's like you spent $50,000
To keep
over your
guitar.
career to keep the same guitar, whereas you could have just bought, 50 better guitars.
Right.
This is a made in
Yeah.
Korea
Yeah.
Ibanez. I didn't even realize. I just looked at it now and was like, oh, it's made in Korea. It cost me it was like $250, $300 as a kit. Like it came with a case, it came with a book, it came with picks and strings and all that shit. And they called it a kit guitar.
Yeah.
The entire top here lifted off the guitar.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I
held
put
together
it,
with
I put it away, and it, whatever.
Mhm.
So what I did was, it was the first guitar I ever bought. I'm not going to get rid of it. I don't want to get rid of it. If I can salvage it, I will. And I just took Gorilla Glue from the store, put glue on it, and then used 2 radiator hose clamps and clamped it down. And at that point, I was like, fuck it, I'm putting stickers all over it now.
Yeah.
So I just started putting stickers on it, and I left the guitar, the radiator thing on it, and it was because of this fucked up damage that made me overlook the damage on my Telecaster, any little minor scratches and stuff on my Epiphone. It's just like, you know what? I kind of like a beat up,
Dude,
fucked up guitar.
Bikers call it character.
Yeah.
You drop your bike the first time, you're like, it was going to happen. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
Now it has character. Now it's your motorcycle.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton. Stevie Ray Vaughan had the SRV Strat. Clapton had Blackie, he called it, and it was like it was just a black Telecaster. It was beat to fucking piss. He still uses it. Who else has one? Jimmy had his, his signature guitar that he played. And he played that till he died. All these musicians, Hank 3, fucking hey, you should see some of the shit he brings on stage. I'm like, is that actually wood? It's probably just some fucking thing he built in his backyard kind of stuff. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's not the end of the world, but at the same time, it's just like some people just prefer pristine, nice guitars, and that's how they like it. Yeah. It takes something traumatic like that to make you go, fuck it, I'm not a millionaire. I got to use what I got to use. Yeah. So, then you learn to appreciate the ridden hard and put away wet. Is that the term?
Yep, that is the term.
For me, it's like, it's like first kiss, first drink you ever had. Like, this was the first for me. First time you drop your guitar, even though I didn't drop it. But
is this your first guitar?
I mean, that's kind of
no.
Okay.
I had my dad's old guitar, which was a 1982 Kramer.
Ooh.
Which sounds nice. It sounds fancy and stuff. But I took it in to get appraised. And they said, it's like $75.
Oh no!
I thought one of those things like,
good guitar
if you put $200 into restoring this, it'd be worth about $200.
Yeah,
I've gotten that a couple of times.
But so I played that one for a while, and that
I was gonna say Kramer guitars are like pretty good.
This is my second guitar.
That is Eddie Van Halen. That's his guitar. It's a Kramer guitar.
Thing with the first one is it's an acoustic. Doesn't have you can't plug it in, and it was getting a little bit out of shape. So instead of kind of repairing that, I was able to get this one. And this is only maybe a year and a half old so far, which is why I'm not quite at the point of trying to move on and get another one yet.
Seriously, go to... The thing is, it's what I was saying before is that you haven't built those years into it where maybe it's worth whatever it takes to save it.
Yeah.
So maybe that could potentially turn into that guitar for you.
Yeah.
Where you go, you maybe go to wherever repairs guitars, and they're going to go, it's going to be more than the guitar was retail value to fix it. And you go, fuck it. I'm going to go to Hobby Lobby. I'm going to get some fiberglass, and I'm going to fix that goddamn hull. And it's probably going to sound almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't
change. At least for what I need to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And... and
then
then you got a story behind it, and then you can fucking slap a sticker on the front of it and not worry about it.
Right.
And then in 6 months or a year or 2 years, you'd be like, I'll buy another $700 guitar, and that'll be my guitar that I use when I'm recording. But I got a cool story with this one.
Yeah.
It's a little liberating too.
Yeah.
Like, I have like etches.
Absolutely.
I have like notches cut into the headstock of the Telecaster from me bashing my drummer's cymbals with it while we're playing. So like once that chip, I did the same thing. I grabbed the guitar by the strap. The Telecaster fell, and then boom! I showed it to you before we started, and I got this giant chip. It's about like 3 inches long on the bottom. All the paint chipped off of it on the back side, and that happened very early on. But once that happened, I was like, "Fuck it, bang! I'm bashing the goddamn
cares?
thing."
Use it for what it is.
I don't want to. I don't want to hurt her.
That can.
I don't want to hurt her.
But that can build you as a person, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Like, I bought my motorcycle, my Buell. I still have it. It's in pieces in my garage. It may never see the road again. I don't fucking know. But I bought it brand new in 2005. And 2 weeks later, I was parking. I was doing 5 miles an hour, and the rear tire hit just a glob of like wheel bearing grease in the parking lot. I was a mechanic. I was working Honda. And it just like kicked out from under me. I broke a bunch of shit, and there's still shit zip tied together from that crash from 2 weeks after I got the goddamn thing.
Wow.
But after that, I was like, you know what? Maybe I will try and do wheelies. Because I already crashed it once. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then you fast forward a few years later, I bought a brand new truck, and like literally that day I was pulling stumps with it.
Huh.
Because you're like you buy
That's what you wanna
things
do.
you buy things to use them.
Yeah.
You
Well,
don't buy things to
Can't
fucking
keep it.
put them on a shelf and keep them perfect.
True.
What we're trying to say is it gets better.
Yeah. It gets better, and you should come to Creator Fest where I'm going to get on stage
Yeah,
and smash
it. Just smash that fucking thing.
Well, in that case, on that note, yeah, he's gonna find the person closest to the stage and smash it over their head.
Yeah, it's gonna be you probably.
I love watching movies and like TV shows where the guy gets like somebody hits somebody with a guitar and it blows into a million pieces. I'm like, there's no
That's not how it works.
You would hit somebody in the head, their head would be in the guitar.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's
and they'd be
glued
out
together
fucking
pretty
cold.
heavily, and then there's like metal strings involved, and yeah,
Yeah, it's like
It'd
kind
take a
of
lot.
what would actually happen if you smashed the guitar, and what would happen in a Quentin Tarantino movie. If you
Yeah,
smashed the
yes.
guitar. Yeah.
Did you know what were you talking about, what was that, Hateful Eight?
Yeah.
Did you hear the story behind that guitar?
No.
So in the Hateful Eight, one of the characters starts playing this like dirge on this guitar, and then she insults Kurt Russell's character. And during the making of the movie, as an improv thing, he grabbed the guitar from her and he smashed it against the wall. That guitar was from like the 1800s.
Oh.
That guitar was period for that time when like the time they were. It was
Nobody told him.
donated by the I think it was the Guitar History the
Society
Guitar
of
History
whatever.
musician the Guitar History Museum. It was donated to the set, and now because of fucking Kurt Russell, no guitars leave that place ever again for any movie whatsoever. He
That's rough.
was beside himself when he found out. Yeah, it was like I can't remember the name of the guitar because it was some like I think it was like an Italian something or other. But yeah, it was priceless. It was a priceless guitar that he just smashed for the sake of his scene.
Poor guy.
well, good for him.
Yeah.
So watch Hateful Eight again. Actually, don't.
still
just
haven't
like
finished
cut that
it.
in half. Watch the second. I think it's. I don't know.
I
It's
still haven't finished it.
It's
I
a
keep
long
falling asleep.
It's a long one. But Brian, thanks for coming again, man.
Absolutely.
And winning us over a little bit on country music.
Thank you.
A couple of
Yeah.
of songs
One
in
step,
there.
baby
Yeah,
steps, one
yeah.
step at
Yeah.
a time.
A little bit here,
I
a little
think
bit there.
and not to go deep, but I think what killed me on country music was the 90s.
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
I was raised on country music. I really was. My grandparents fucking loved country music.
Achy
It was
Breaky Heart.
yeah, it was all like Hank Williams and Achy Breaky Heart was a big one.
That would have been Hank too at that time. I think.
Yeah, I can't keep fucking track. I don't know. I have a bunch of country western Christmas albums.
The
I know
Hank
that.
Williams clans loves to fuck. They got lots of kids.
Yeah, I was ruined on 90s country for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a
Just
problem.
So, but you're slowly getting back to.
I mean, your versions of it I like. It's
Okay.
It's yours is you're from Philadelphia, so
Right.
it's not as twangy.
Right.
That being said, I love bluegrass.
Yeah.
Love bluegrass.
I
It's
think
just like the pop country stuff that I really dislike, like
Yeah.
Garth.
I think it's all about like you guys are rock guys, so you would probably gravitate more towards the country rock guys.
Yeah.
Like that's how you get back into the
I
genre.
mentioned,
I
I mentioned
like
Hank
Lynyrd
3
Skynyrd.
before. I mentioned Hank 3 before. I love Hank 3.
Yeah. Skynyrd,
I think-
Jason
I
Aldean.
I don't know him, but I love Skynyrd.
Yeah.
They got great stuff. So yeah, there's definitely avenue. Like, I'll listen to the "Oh Brother Where Art Thou" soundtrack right now. I fucking love that shit.
Oh, and Johnny. Who
great
can
album.
forget Johnny
Yeah.
fucking Cash, man? I love Johnny
Yeah.
Cash.
Yeah.
I listen to him all
So
the
there's
goddamn time.
avenues. It's just it's the 90s poppy country that
Okay.
I think kind of ruined it for me.
Right.
But I don't see any changes in the industry yet. Maybe you could be that change.
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll see.
Okay.
You got to rub
Wow.
some dirt on it. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Song title
Yeah.
right there. Rub some dirt on it. Do you want a
Take it
co-writing
and run.
credit?
Yeah, sure. Give me
Okay.
50% of
Okay,
that
I'll-
shit.
I'll write it down.
There we go. Thank you so much for having me on. It's
Awesome.
always great coming to talk to you guys.
It's a lot of fun. Again, a lot of fun. And I'm glad you're back to play Creator Fest, too.
For sure.
It's awesome having... it's like that was the one thing we were just trying to grab and we just couldn't get was a couple students to play. And, you know, I'm just glad we have Vassar representing. And, yeah, man, anybody listening, Ruby Plays Music on Instagram. Bryan Ruby is his name. He's going to be playing at HV Creator Fest on May 5th. And somewhere in between 12:15 and 6 p.m. And you got the whole band with you, which apparently, which is awesome. It's great.
Too.
It's totally great. I can completely accommodate. I'm just glad you told me now.
Cool. Okay.
Do you have anything else coming up?
Really, that's it for now.
Yeah.
You coming by on Thursday?
I'll be there this Thursday.
Yeah. Open mic.
So open mic at the Crafted Cup
Crafted
at 44 Raymond Avenue in Poughkeepsie, New York. Show starts at 7 o'clock. Brian usually goes on pretty early.
Yeah.
And you get a taste of him and some other folks.
Yeah, drink some local beers.
And drink some local mead.
Some coffee.
And then...
Been playing college shows. I have a show coming up 2 or 3 weeks just at school for just the college crowd. It's not really open to the public, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just play for a bunch of drunk college kids, and they like it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Fucking rage.
It's a fun time.
We would love to have Vassar students be checking out this show. So
yeah.
Yeah, let them know.
Spread the word.
Cool.
Let them know who loves you. All right, so we got show titles. I was worried because the first half we didn't have a single one.
We're just talking about country music.
All of a sudden it just the fucking floodgates opened. So go ahead. I got 3 myself.
All right. So I have touched this old man's heart and other things.
Oh no. What else we got?
No, I want to that you said that.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Let me hear yours now.
I don't like playing with a hole in the back. Don't be a George Costanza, and a country portfolio.
Ooh.
Then I've got the keyboard player from Lynyrd Skynyrd likes me. Receive the guitar by the neck.
Right.
I mean, it's
true. If my friend Sam sees this, he's not going to be happy. I don't know.
Sam needs to grow a thicker skin.
Yeah.
And then you misspoke a little bit during your story and said guitar history musician.
Okay. Yeah, I caught that.
And then rub some dirt on it.
Ooh, I like that one.
You like
rub some dirt on it. That's very country.
I'm with that.
I like rub some dirt on it, and the keyboard player from Lynyrd Skynyrd likes me.
Rub some dirt on it with Bryan Ruby.
There you go.
Dead Radio Podcast.
All right, so it's between which one?
Rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it.
Absolutely.
Let's
All
go.
right, that was the last 30 seconds of the show.
That's we make the magic.
All right. Cool.
I don't know.
It usually has to be
hashtag
I
George
think with these
hashtag George Costanza.
You can write that down. I think with these, I have to be drunk enough to find the funny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I always write down maybe 1 or 2 in the first half of the show, and then the rest of them in the last half.
The first half, I think the first half was mostly serious. We were
was
really getting deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Again, thank you so much for coming. It was awesome. Thanks for turning us on to actually some country shit that we actually like to listen
For
to.
sure. I'm glad you guys like it.
Yeah. Really wish you luck, and we'll see you.
Thanks.
Do you want to go
I'll see you
crash an
Thursday.
electric skateboard out front real quick?
And then we got to rub some dirt on it afterwards.
Yes, we do. And gauze and some antibiotics. Who do we got next week?
Sierra Fergal.
Oh, Sarah Fergal.
So Sierra Fergal, Fergal Music.
Another musician playing HV Creator Fest. You should definitely tune into that. Check out how,
especially talking about multi-instrumental pieces of
I'm gonna
shit.
have to take this one of the leaves out of this table and push it back because she's got this pedal effects, loop pedals, and all kinds of crazy shit. She's like a one-man band, one-woman band,
one-person band,
one-person band. My mistake.
Okay.
Without the bass drum on her back.
Until she lets us know how she identifies, or they. I don't know. It's 2019.
So yeah, next week. But until then, Bryan Ruby. Ruby Plays Music on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, kids. That's it. Goodbye.
Thank you.
See you later.